Moodtrix's Fight School, the year beta review.
Moderate Mark Productions.
It's beta because junior year is taken down due to COVID-19, and literally, until things change, there will be no junior year of Fight School. But that is because of what happened with the epidemic of the year beta. If you don't know what beta is basically a practice test, something that's not complete, something that is used commonly for rock AMVs, especially MVPs. Beta is an unfinished project, but an unfinished project with quality. I have one beta on the channel, and it's called Should I Finish? And that is the example of why we cannot, I repeat, cannot start junior year Fight School because of the pandemic and the real meat and potatoes. The real nitty gritty of this year is very miscellaneous, but the real reason why this video is so important is for you guys to know that this was very epic, very spontaneous, but most of all, it was very intense. This is the world of MGTOW. So if you don't know, my name is Moodtrix. I used to be an Instagram celebrity, and I surprisingly was not criticized by society for my what people could call stereotypical habits of me not socializing, me staying at home watching anime. But I can prove I could socialize if I wanted to, but I would rather stay out the way because I learned a lot of danger. I learned a lot of what it is to be on the other side, and it's not pretty. There's a whole lot of fronting and not a whole lot of doing. I was known for having a personal life, but putting that on the back burner because I was put in a rough space before I became an Instagram celebrity. So I decided to take my time. I decided to really grind hard in my career, and I was known for that, but I was also known for people trying to slander my name because people could get away with making fun of me from my so-called childish habits in high school, even though it's a part of my life goal. Many celebrities, many people were always stepping away and giving me a praise whenever people tried to talk shit. And the year beta was when people, secret societies, tried to bring me and a whole bunch of other people down, and we as MGTOW went to war in year beta. The year beta is all about people realizing what is right and what is wrong, and people stop believing what's on the outside until they get the full story. The year beta is basically people trying to use the past as the excuse because the situation already escalated. As I stated in several videos, I made a Despicable Me trilogy talking about my life story, but why people call me a sociopath, it was due to the fact that the end result, I have no friends. I can't keep a relationship. I can fucking, when people say you can fuck, you can't keep a relationship, they say easy come, easy go. I'm like, no, because people are struggling to get laid at all. But on the outside, on paper, people would always use this definition: you're a little kid because you don't know how to sustain something, and that's why you didn't graduate college, and that's why you have a bunch of Instagram clout, and that's why when people truly get to know you, they leave. But no, the real story is when people truly get to know me, they realize they can't get over. You're all dripping nothing. I'm like, nope, I've proven I've had personality too much. I'm like, what's the whole point if I'm not getting what I want out of the situation? This ties heavily into MGTOW because MGTOW was something I was never a part of, but something I contributed to because I thought it was stupid. A whole bunch of grown men talking about their personal lives and how women rejected them, stuff like that. And I put this into perspective. This is how I view people who diss the real MGTOWs. There's a real MGTOW and there's a fake MGTOW that does it just for attention. And literally, how I view a fake MGTOW when they try to say women are cruel and stuff like that, and they say that Chris had a legitimate reason to beat Rihanna, I'm like, okay, first off, he did not have a legitimate reason, but his responsibility fell flat because when you're in a relationship, you have to establish dominance, so she would never try some stupid shit like that. You need to plant your flag so she can be scared to do shit like that. You need to insert your power as a man over her with your mind, not your fucking body, because then you're a fucking barbarian. He needed to establish that he couldn't get punked before that happened. That was his fault. But that wasn't entirely his fault. But that's what you have to do in general. So my role in year beta was they tried to pull this whole rule over my eyes like, oh, you're still new to socializing. It's only been a couple of years of things going your own way. You still have a lot to learn. I'm like, nope, I'm already a dad. I already know how society works. I already know being a deadbeat ain't shit because a lot of women are polyamorous. Why can't I be? A guy who's drunk and fucks a girl at a party is technically a deadbeat, even though he fucks and dips and doesn't contact them back. Yeah, get the fuck out. A lot of people tried my personal thing. There's a lot of people I'm gonna cover in this year beta review, and my role, even though I already stated it, was I was oblivious that people were trying to pull that scheme. I'm like, aren't they gonna put two together? Aren't they gonna leave me alone after I already established that I won? It's really tough trying to support me because my hood nigga was really forced, and I never wanted to be on the streets. I never wanted to be a hood nigga. I was a pure anime fan to the fullest, and other anime fans thought the way that I used to think, thinking that being admiral is a way to get women. I'm like, you can't do that, literally. I literally tell people why you can't be on that shit. It's the same reason why I see Flake the Ghost in the Shell. It's the same reason why Allie gave me all those shit tests. I had to stand up in the most masculine way, shape, or form in order for them to respect me. Yes, I had to get the toxic masculinity. I had to do a couple of backflips in order to get the woman that everybody wanted. I had to defeat competition in order to get those women. I had to implant that at people's heads, and they're all like, oh, we all have specific roles that we have to play. We shouldn't have to stand up to competition. I'm like, okay, that may be so, but you're so goal-oriented until a point where you're not a jack of all trades, to the point where you are one-dimensional, where somebody else who literally can just be themselves, and their selves is more multi-dimensional than your career, is where they're all wrong. It's like, oh, you didn't graduate college, that's why you're in a group home. I'm like, ha ha ha, you're harassed me, so I would never get pussy. And the year beta literally stated this so prominently because the Lisa theory was still there. And the Lisa theory was when I tried to sleazeball for the very first time, when I didn't feel like putting in effort because the girl was fat, when she was sent by a fine one that disrespected me, was literally, I got over that shit sophomore year in fights when I was Kizaru. It didn't matter. What happened was the fake gangsters and the nerds collabed for this year in the beginning and later on in the middle throughout the year. So literally my role was to remain calm and let them play themselves through working on my personal goals that I was working on since sophomore year. So here's the thing. There was a video that I took down due to somebody giving me a fake copyright strike where I stated that everybody is jealous of me. Everybody is all like, oh, this guy listens to the best music. This guy has the best wardrobe, and all his girlfriends have nice face, big tits, and big ass. I want that. I want to be popular just like him. I'm like, well, you gotta work hard. And I stated this over and over again, like, no, I just have to listen to Nord to say believe it. I'm like, no, you have to work hard. And he's like, no, I just have to listen to Nord to say believe it. You're evil. I'm good, even though I'm hacking. Little do you know that there are people who I look up to whose personalities literally flip my whole backflips, literally flip all my talents, that literally can get the same amount of women that don't rely on the same shit that I do because they have a whole foundation and they have been in the game a whole lot longer. They know how to work with women a whole lot better, and that's why I literally realized that I am a grown-ass man, and I'm talking to a whole bunch of grown people who still think they're little kids. It started off, there was an Easter egg sophomore year in flight school, and I started working at Home Depot. Isaiah's ex-girlfriend gave me a visit at the at the store right next door to where I worked. So Brianna is with this guy with baggy jeans, literally. She graduated college, and I know it's through her pussy pass. I already corrected Brianna in several videos, and she literally comes after I make a video about freshman year that I took down too. So this is last year before year beta, but this ties into heavily into year beta because of what she was doing, and this is why people can't fool me. So here's what happened. So literally, Brianna starts kissing this dude in front of me, acting like I didn't go through a whole high school of people making me jealous, of people making out. Even Diamante made out with a girl in front of me, and I kept on eating my pizza. You know why? It's because I already got curved by that girl. That girl still expected me, like, hey, Eris, and then she started making out with Diamante, and I kept on eating my pizza like, yo, there's nothing I can do about this situation. But this was different. This is when I know she's trying to make me jealous, and this shit makes me yawn. Literally what happened is Literally, I'm looking at my Instagram, laughing at memes, and she's still trying to make me jealous. And she literally pointing to the Mountain Dew in the freezer, saying, I don't know how to change my floor, referencing the ARL, trying to give me constructive criticism. I'm the one with the boyfriend, I'm the one with this and that. Literally, street code, and it doesn't work, because all I did was say, hey, you have nice hair. And then I went back in the line, literally. And she was literally talking to herself, literally pretending to be her boyfriend, kissing her boyfriend, and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm going to expose him. I'm going to expose him. And literally, nothing happens. I keep the same straight face because I've been there, done that, and I know how you get those things because I couldn't stay in college because I'm not a fucking girl. So this was before I trained for Level Up Expo 2020, but that is the premise of the year beta. So the year beta was very, 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 very tragic in the beginning and throughout the middle because they would not let the Lisa theory go, because what it is she hit me with a moral where I hit her with a street smart principle to make sure that society would back up her statement, because literally I established that we were only just friends. If you really had baby mama, you wouldn't be desperate. I wasn't desperate, and she knows I have a lot to fall back on, and that's why it is heavy. It takes a while to prove that wrong. That was literally a stalemate. I've proven I can get another one, but I didn't prove I can get my life together. Like I can get my own house, and I couldn't get a car. And they're basically saying me not getting another one isn't gonna mean shit. And even though I proved them wrong, nerds resorted to hacking. I'm like, okay, you think hacking is gonna bring me down? Well, I'm used to girls hacking me. I'm used to hood niggas hacking me, for God's sake. Come on. Girls hack me so I don't talk to another bitch. I'm used to women hacking me. What the fuck are nerds gonna do? And I have that perspective, and they're still thinking that they can win this. What they were trying to do is they were trying to limit my options so I would finally grab a button again. I'm like, been there, done that. The nerds and the gangsters were trying to manipulate my environment so much, to a point where my personal habits didn't matter anymore. Literally, I don't care what you did at Level Up Expo. I don't care what you do. I don't care how good you are at video games. I want you to get your life together. You're saying that with emotion, and you're putting action to it that lets me know you're emotional about the situation. You're not calm, cool, and collect, and you're wondering why I get all these girls. You're wondering why you have blue balls. So that tied in heavily, because here's what happens. So Level Up Expo 2020 comes along, and even though I can't get my collab with Karma, I prepared heavily for Sosuke. So here's the thing, they tried to manipulate the situation. They be thinking that I was an internet celebrity when I wasn't, and I am an internet celebrity because I have routes I can take, shortcuts in line by being cool with people. So what they did was they tried to pull the same shit they did at Fan May at Level Up, thinking that if they make the cons shitty, that I am going to resort to that old shit. And I'm like, nope, it's not. So what happened was I dealt with gang stalking the very first day.
Moderate Mark
The very first day when I went to Level Up Expo, and literally they fucked up my deck drill. But it didn't matter because somebody already had my back and recorded me. I got a shout out at Level Up Expo, so it did not matter. And what I'm trying to tell these nerds is I am goal oriented. This is a part of my goal. And so here's the thing about me and Level Up. So I get past gang stalking the very first day, and they pretended, okay, so we're not gonna allow gang stalking the second day because we're already preparing for Shosuke. And so Shosuke comes along, and that is a story for another video. And literally, I kill shit with Shosuke, I kill shit at the dance, and I kill shit with Asagiri again. And I come home, and everybody is praising me like gang stalking never existed. Because I put in the work, because I did every fucking thing that I was supposed to, because I trained hard for those 5 months is why they could not fuck it up no matter what. And that is why hard work beats talent. Hard work beats numbers, hard work beats everything. I don't think Naruto just saying believe it was gonna be able to beat pain. So I come back and everything's all good. So people get infuriated at the fact that I got through their gang stalking and that Shosuke's drip defeated every. So they tried hacking me again. I'm like, okay, Lily, sit back, watch you play yourself, watch you waste your energy while I'm still calm, cool, collected. You're wondering why you're not better than me at martial arts. Martial artists. The year beta literally stated why. So here's what happened is I keep on hearing throughout the grapevine that Lisa will not let this sleazeball shit go, and that I need to come to my senses that these nerds and these gangsters are not gonna let me obtain what I worked hard for, and they're gonna hack it. Then they're gonna call me a little kid when they're manipulating the situation. I'm like, haha, nice try, buddy. That's why Justin didn't win junior high. Literally, I was on my way getting crispy donuts and Lily. So Lisa tries to get my aunt named Lisa to dress up as a penis by making sure she's wearing a hoodie. As soon as I come back from getting donuts, I see my aunt in a green hoodie representing my dick. I'm like, okay, is this a costume? They're trying to get me to realize that I'm selling myself short. Literally, she was disgusting, she was everything. I'm like, okay, this can only last for so long. This shit is only temporary. And this shit is so fucking funny because literally, even though it hurts at the moment, it's just a poke. I'm gonna get over it. And I went back and started watching my shows on Netflix. I already replaced her over and over again. You're not letting me talk to them because you're hacking them. That's not my fault. I'm not gonna be fooled by the fact that you keep on consistently trying to shove in my face that you have the power of hacking when you have the power of jacking off. You're not limiting my options, you're only limiting your own. Make yourself a better person instead of trying to bring one person down. It's really common sense. And pure retardation, if you ask me. You see a pattern of shit not working, yet you try a different pattern in the same context, but it still doesn't work. No matter how many different ways you try to say that I can take a shit this way, I can take a shit that way, you're still just taking a shit. So that is why I stood in the beginning. It didn't matter how good I did at the con, but it will always matter. Because that is why they couldn't get over it. So here's what happens. It's literally MGTOW becomes stronger than ever during COVID-19 because literally the beta male provider was on the rise. What I did was I influenced a little bit of the MGTOW war because of the Lisa shit, and once I got over it, they didn't want to let it go, but it became outstanding because she got a replacement, and Lisa calmed down for a good long time. She started dating a guy that I knew back when I was famous on Disney. When I first got Instagram clout, this guy name was Alex. Alex was a troublemaker at my old high school. I already graduated before he can get in, but I knew who he was because he was at the bus stop. So here's what happened. During my Instagram days, I was texting girl after girl, and they kept on telling me, I want to get choked, I want to get gorillaed, why aren't you taking charge? And so literally, what I would do is I would talk shit to them, and then I would ask for sex, showing them I have a personality first thing, and then I would ask for sex. I wouldn't put any other effort in other than that. And literally, so people are clowning on you, oh, this is why you don't get results, this and that. When I was at the hyperbolic time chamber, I was watching a movie with my mom, and literally, we're in line, and these girls came completely out of line with me. I don't put pussy on a pedestal anymore. These two girls that I know are underage are flirting with me, talking about, hey, don't you want to touch that? It's so fucking soft. Now, they're being serious, by the way. I couldn't fuck these girls, but literally, they are oblivious of the situation that they are talking about sex right in front of my mom. And she's like, oh, you're not gonna talk? Oh, you're too lazy for that. And so I ignore them, and I get them out the store, and I start talking to the ARL, and she's like, oh, that baby who you were abandoning, this and that. I'm like, I laugh at that shit because I know what the full story is, and that is why you're not getting anything. Another girl pulled her pants up at the same time. Literally, she's pulling out this shit. Don't you want that? This is real shit, but they're delivering it to a point where it's not. I'm like, dude, if I didn't know how to socialize, it still wouldn't hit hard. That is where clout gets you. So Alex literally stated what girls wanted. So I was walking down the street from my old high school, and I see Alex at the bus stop with an ugly skinny girl that looks like a mouse. And so I see Alex choke her and literally leave his fingerprints on her neck. Literally, this is what they want. Doing that crazy high school shit that literally, I wouldn't expect that from a white guy. He's acting so gangster. I'm like, dude, this is funny shit to me. This is what they want. And Alex is looking at me. He's staring at me. He knows I'm not going to do this shit. And I'm looking at him, and that's what he gets because he went to the same juvie school as Arturo. And that's why he has so much personality. So he went out with Lisa right after she realized that she couldn't replace me. And Alex was irreplaceable. Alex had all the swag that Arturo had from the juvie school, but he was nowhere near my rival's power level. The bitch had glasses too. So I'm all like, dude, you got away with it because you're choking a lame nerd. And Seymour would look at that shit like, he's so gangster. He's so gangster. I look at him like, dude, the only reason why he gets away with it is because he's ugly. And that's why he ended up with Lisa. So Lisa and him literally go through a power struggle, literally becoming my replacement, and that is the best standby for a while. So here's another thing that plays a big role into the year beta review. So the year beta starts off for me checking in with everyone from junior high because I was wondering where their R went, and I got the biggest smack on my whole time. So if you don't know, I was on the streets, homeless, basically, because if you know what street code is, a group home is literally one level above being homeless. And when you're homeless, you have more connections because you're always on the move. So a group home is literally the equivalent to being homeless. I finally come back and I realize that they are all virgins still. I'm like, what? I look at literally so many other people, fucking Justin, fucking Ellie, everybody I know from junior high is still a virgin. All those top contenders, all those funny jokes were put to rest because they're suffering from chronic blue balls. I realized that I was the only one with discipline, so everybody was mocking me on the outside because I have self-control, so that's how they know I can get women. That's how they know I have children, but they're trying to pull this shit, oh, you don't have children on paper. You don't have children on paper, and they kept on shoving it in my face. And that's why Lisa won. That's why Lisa won, because you're not responsible. You're not this and that. And it couldn't work the entire time, because everybody who tried to set me up saying that Lisa won never told the full story. And the adults would shut them up, and the situation would shut them up. They keep on trying to prove me wrong, like this is how you treat a lady, yet they're the ones getting fined for sexual assault. They're the ones literally getting control because they don't know how to feel out of a situation. They don't know how to tell if a girl is truly lying or not. And they get that misconception. It went from being in high school with DMR making out with a girl in front of me to every time I see a couple, I can tell they're faking to make me jealous. And I don't see a single kiss. I don't see anything going around but her body language saying, I really want to fuck him, but I'm just with him to prove a point. Every fucking time they try and make me jealous and then they fall for the drip. They tried to keep this facade up for so fucking long. Literally, for so fucking long that it just couldn't work. And I'm like, how do you have loss after loss after loss and still be cocky? What does junior high do for you? What does that validation when you're young do for you to the point where you're that ignorant that you can't focus on the current situation? It's because my shit isn't obvious. I'm like, do you not know that I know that people rape people and that they try to rape my baby mama? I'm well aware of how this shit works, and they're trying to say that I'm oblivious. They're fucking up because they're using street smart techniques and they're trying to say that I don't have shit on paper. Let me tell you something. Before I continue on in this video, I have to tell you why I don't care when people try to pick up my girls in car, when they try to flex on any girl, and I knew a whole lot more about what was going on. And
Moderate Mark
a lot of the 8th grade secrets were revealed to me this year, the beta. You know the reason why the bad boy is a pussy? There's this one thing where I put 2 and 2 together where somebody tried to kidnap a little girl in the car. I knew this guy personally, but I'm like, okay, he has the mindset of a little kid, so this shit isn't gonna work. I know exactly what's gonna happen. He has all his shit together, but he thinks like a little kid. Literally, this guy literally picked this girl up, hacked her phone, got her location, picked her up in a car, trapped her in the car, and literally drove her to the woods like he was about to rape her. But before he rapes her, she's in the car and she's like, okay, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna rape me? Go ahead, I'm already here. And the guy started literally reconsidering what the fuck he was about to do. Literally, when she showed that she didn't care, and when she's like, if you're gonna do it, do it, he turned into a pussy. He did all that work, yes, all that material things, and he literally drove her back home, and she didn't snitch on him because he was a little pussy. That is why the bad guy ain't shit, and that is why you should not be scared of a fucking gangster. Gangsters are literally trained to fight people who don't fight back. They're literally people who didn't have discipline, who dropped out, that literally never got to their master's level, but took some school smart principles and tried to apply it just so they can trick you into their lifestyle. So now that we got that out the way, let's go on to the war on MGTOW. So MGTOW became very prominent, even though the gangsters and nerds were still collabing, because they're saying what was going on is other people were stepping up their game. Like Alex was getting to know female nature a whole lot more through trying to deal with Lisa because that was his top competition. And so literally, what was going on with this? I hear rumors that Alex has had his mouth drooling all those tits and stuff like that. How can she be so father yet be so powerful? Literally, his mouth drooling and stuff like that. Every time they try to make them jealous, like, dude, this is so fucking scary. This guy is a super powerful. Literally, this is somebody he was willing to discard, and I'm drooling all over her. And everybody else was moving on, but it was hard for them to back up my statement because what I did this year in the beta is I reminisced on every fucking thing that I learned in junior high. The whole reason why I made the junior high playlist was because of this. I was disappointed in what they turned into as adults. I was stuck with no competition. I adapted to everything they say I couldn't just to realize that they're lying the entire time. And it made me cry that I'm no longer with those people. I no longer have a reason to use all this swag. I no longer have a reason to be this funny. I no longer have a reason to do this and that. And literally, it's forever embedded in me. And literally, now that I can destroy them in every social interaction, they're literally the equivalent to me in my 7th grade now. Now that things are not going their way, they are worse than ever before. They're literally, now that they have no connections, they have no game. That means you never had game the whole time. But that didn't stop the media from sipping. So here's what happened. If you guys are wondering, why do we have slice of life anime being on the charts way more than shonen anime, is because of the damn Lisa. So let me give you an insider of Fire Force Season 1 with Lisa, the character named Lisa, and why I made the 20-minute video, because people kept on making fun of Lisa, and I tried to say, yo, she's an anime fan. I don't give a fuck about her big tits. The reason why I'm defending her is because you shouldn't treat anyone like that. Because I used to be made fun of, so I tried to defend her, and she took advantage of that. And literally, they tried to flip the script that, oh, I'm sprung. Like, no, I'm being considerate because I was a nerd that used to get picked on. And the reason why Lisa is slim and thick is because in Fire Force, she is based off Jordan, not Lisa. So the whole reason why they put that in Fire Force is so everybody can say, oh, you got roasted by Lisa, which is why the guy with the green eyes is on the ground, like she defeated him. But in reality, she's referencing the fine ass Jordan. That is why Lisa in Fire Force looks more like Jordan than Lisa. Lisa was a mask so I could be Jordan's beta male provider. And that's why they didn't stop. They made anime all about gossip, which is where we get anime like Yamada, Zero Maidens, that's all about gossip and all about relationships instead of action and shonen and literally living through God. And that is literally what happened. If you're wondering why we have Doblis, if you're wondering why we have such little action anime, is to make sure everybody became beta male providers. And why it's better to be a beta male provider instead of having a quickie as an alpha male. MGTOW was very heavy on anime, but because I was at the highest of the clout at the time is where he took those elements from me, but what's happening, what's going on with other people was way fucking worse. What's going on in personal life was happening in Justin's life. Oh, I heard Justin almost got in trouble because he didn't know that he was dancing with an underage girl because he was at the party, because he's doing the same shit he's doing in junior high. I also heard that he got out due to a misunderstanding, but still, that is very, very pathetic of him. And it really, really sucked because everybody else's life outside of mine was going crazy. Me, I was stuck to be stagnant because I didn't want to deal with hypergamy. They were trying to force me and so many other people to deal with hypergamy. I noticed not just me, but everybody stopped getting jobs. I know so many people that moved out of my town due to hypergamy, and now every time I go to Lucky's, there's a new fucking employee because nobody knows how to fucking socialize. Literally, so they kept on shoving this beta male down society's throat, and it was only keeping us content at the time, but we know shit was gonna do bad. This is why they resorted to going out in the streets. This isn't helping us, this is making us more rebellious. Instead of trying to shove lovey-dovey shit down our throat, why would you go back to what made anime good again, like Rob Lucci versus Luffy, Naruto versus Sasuke? What happened to those animated fights? That's what kept me content, and that's what kept me on my toes throughout junior high, even though they had all the friends I had, the whole world of anime to fall back on. No matter how much Justin was talking shit, he could not deny that anime was fat as fuck. But now he can, because now it's just Asian people talking shit. The year beta came with a whole lot of torment, a whole lot of me suffering for being the only one in my circle, literally not making me feel special, but like, why the fuck am I here? Why the fuck did I adapt to everything? I have too much self-esteem to go back to my old ways, but literally, I was so fucking isolated, I felt so alone, because nobody can be in my fucking level. It's one thing where you feel like you're inferior to everyone, but it's a whole nother thing when you feel like you shouldn't be superior because you have a whole bunch of knowledge, like people like Rashad, Robert, Raj, all that hood nigga shit that they taught me. All the motherfucking competition that I had to deal with was all fucked up because I learned how to have a soul, and then I was forced to live in the suburbs. So that was my solitude the year of the beta. So, reminiscing on my old competition, something crazy went out. So, I pulled this girl at Level Up Expo that cosplayed as Envy from Full Metal Alchemist. And so, I knew instantly what was gonna happen. She had a fat ass, and I tried to get her number, and she rejected it. I'm like, oh no. If Envy rejected me, that can only mean one thing. They're saving her for Arturo! I'm like, oh, she's gonna be all over his dick. Does that make me gay? I think that makes me gay. Let me double check. No, that doesn't make me gay. And so... and so... my old friend Arturo goes viral, and Lily, she hunts him down to his location, looking for some clout, and he ends up, Lily, this is a rumor that I heard about, that he had to watch the first episode of Aruma with his girl. But before that happened, let's backtrack a little bit. I hear a rumor that Arturo hooked up with a girl I met at the convention, and literally, so I'm hearing this story. So the first thing that I hear about is that he watched the old friend Arturo with his friends first, but then he watched it with her. And when he watched it with her, literally what happened was this. I think I got it right. I don't know that he might have watched it first with her. So here's what happened. So he tried to pull a me with her. I'm like, bad mistake, buddy. Her ass was looking juicy, and he was getting tired of my editing. He knew I got better because he tried to pretend that anime wasn't shit anymore. So now that anime goes the most viral, and now that he's watching my top tier editing versus my shitty anime videos in high school, when he's looking at this, he's all like, this is cool in his head. He's mad that I improved in everything, and he's where a fine ass goes. So here's what happened. He decides to pull a B, and he slaps her ass. And he gets in trouble. And Lily, when he's in handcuff, this is so funny. When he's in handcuff, I heard that it was so fucking funny that Lily, he was getting cuffed when the video was still playing, and all the cops here is, he fully just started rapping. And the cop literally started busting up laughing and shit like that, literally. So that gave him a good reputation. So he got out pretty quickly because, you know, she's hungry for clout. And so he goes through a power struggle, which symbolizes the MGTOW year beta. So he gets out, and literally, he tries to watch the first episode of Aruma. He makes the same mistake again. So Arturo was suffering that the clout that I had, literally getting in and out of trouble due to his popularity alone, but he's never self-improving. And so I'm making Arturo video after Arturo is slowly, from what I hear, is gaining more character and more character and more character. Because I surrounded him with anime fans, he couldn't pull the whole street smart shit anymore, and he literally realized what I've been trying to tell so many people: stop trying to be gangster, because like I stated before, a gangster is a fucking pussy. It's somebody who is not disciplined enough, therefore he can't handle responsibility, therefore somebody always covers him from self-improving. They're free, but their freedom comes with no discipline. There was this one time where I was in the hyperbolic time chamber, where literally there was this black girl, Lily, and it was so crazy. I tried talking to her, and she's telling me about all the parties she went to, all the hotels she was at. And I'm all like, me, with my love for having parties and stuff like that, I'm all like, dude, I want to live that lifestyle. I was like, I want to be free. And Lily, so the black girl looks at me, she's like, I don't want to be free. And I'm like, I think about it, I'm like, dude, I put two and two together right away. I'm like, every time she goes to this party, she always gets raped. Literally, I got so lost in the conversation, I missed my bus stop. I'm like, damn, you made me miss my bus. He's like, nigga, that was your fault. And I was like, and she's like, yeah, that was a slap on the knee, alright? So, the recurring issue of the year beta is literally everybody is trying to tell the same, that people try to tell Diamante at Crunchyroll that being a gangster ain't shit, that they're overrated, and that literally it takes a real man to stand up to competition instead of be with the same people that keep them at the same level. I literally hear rumors about my brothers who all literally been around the same way, getting into fights after fights after fights after fights. Literally, my older brother trying to say, literally, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself. Fighting my two older brothers other than him. And I hear that my brother is keep on up with these people who damn near bench 300 pounds, or he benches like 200. And literally, people are telling me, yo, your brother is super fast, but your other brothers are super powerful. I'm like, dude, their fights are weedy. You thinking that they're epic fights that last for 45 minutes because he keeps on taking the hit and then he plays dumb, but then he hits him in the nose with his knee because he act like he's never been in a gang fight before. My older brother acts like he's never fought somebody who benches over 200 before, and he's fighting my older brother is literally after a suicide attempt because he can't get pussy, and then he ends up fighting them for no fucking reason. They're not paying attention to that. They're paying attention to how epic the fight is. I'm like, you do realize that that's the equivalent to two monkeys swinging randomly. But how? It's filled with so much strategy. It's really because they don't want to fight somebody who actually is a dad, who actually will end the fight quickly for a good reason. They're letting the fight drag on, and you guys are praising it. I'm like, that's why you guys don't know how to fight. If you guys actually stood up past your limits and actually did see what's wrong with them, you would understand why I took the hit from my brother last time he tried to fight me. I had to take the hit because I was put in a situation where I called him out, I'll be stranded. And you're sitting over here praising him for going toe-to-toe with them, letting the fight drag on, while I'm telling him to beat me up more again out of his system. The reoccurring issue that the street life have numbers, literally, you have to draw the line. Are you going to settle for quantity, or are you going to settle for quality? Now, when you become an adult that truly knows, like, the street life ain't shit, you get both. You get both quality and quality, which is why you are jealous of the guy who listens to the best music, who has the best wardrobe, where all his girlfriends have a nice face, big tits, and fat asses. And that is the year beta review.